Part 5. The Plan. Mars looked around at the deserted bar. He thought about his options. He really didn't have any, so having decided to stay, he started planning. Those pool tables had to be moved, the darts board had to go, and Mars had to look in the lock-up at the back of the bar to see if there was anything he could utilise to make the bar look more attractive. He could really use Tate's ideas. She was so creative. He decided to call her again. Tate's phone went straight to her answering service. Mars left a message asking her to come to the bar and meet him. In the meantime, he would have to wait until some stronger guys came in so that he could move the pool tables. He walked through the curtain and past the staircase leading to Pat's flat, opened the door at the end of the corridor and walked into the yard. He found a key that opened the storage building and looked inside. It was a veritable Aladdin's cave. Neon signs, aluminium tables and chairs, lighting and mirrors. Mars couldn't see everything, since most of the items were stacked up and would have to be moved for examination. At 4 in the afternoon, Tate called Mars. She was suspicious of his motives, and despite Mars's reassurance to the contrary, she wasn't convinced. However, she did say she would visit the bar at 6:30 after her shift at work. Mars was over the moon. He already had visions of Tate coming home with him and everything would return to normal. Maybe not as in the past, but as close as possible. He couldn't wait for her arrival, and Mars diligently prepared for Tate's visit. He knew she needed convincing of his new-found work ethic. Since they first met, they had never fallen out so badly, so he was in uncharted territory. He found some paper under the stairs and started making notes and drawing sketches of what needed to be done and how the bar should look. The bar was quite as usual, save for the 2 retired men who always played 2 games of pool followed by checkers. At 6:35, Tate walked into Riley's. Mars was almost beside himself, but tried not to show it.
Tell me why you do this. I never done you wrong. You always surprise me. Seem to act so strong. Tell me you love me, babe, I'll understand. Please don't deny me, baby, take my
He walked coolly towards Tate, put his arms around her and kissed her cheek. Tate, however, demonstrated her own brand of cool by asking him what he was playing at. "What do you mean? Playing at what?" said Mars indignantly. "All this. What's it about? Do you really think you can trick me into believing you are responsible for this place? I don't think so. This place needs someone who can work, and work hard. Come on, Mars. Which of your reprobate friends owns or runs this place?" Mars was flabbergasted. In his wildest dreams he could never have imagined that Tate would behave like this. He was bemused, speechless, and becoming annoyed. "If you thought you could fool me so easily, you'll have to think again." And with that she turned and walked out. Mars was so surprised he didn't even argue or chase after her. He raised his arms and gestured to the heavens. At this moment one of the older regulars said, "Don't worry, fella, you're better off without her." "And you can shove off too," replied Miles. "Ooh, touchy," said the 2 men in unison. 10 minutes later they left, and Miles was alone. Miles sat at the bar doodling. He wasn't thinking of anything in particular when Pat's boys came in. "Miles, my man, where's Pat?" Miles explained to the off-duty officers about Claire's death and Pat's decision to go to Chicago. Miles poured the men a drink and they toasted Pat. "Well, it looks like it's all down to you, Miles," said Frank, the man who had given Miles a litter violation ticket. "Yes, you're right. Pat's left this place in my hands, and since he's away for a month, I wonder whether you guys would be interested in doing him a big favour, said Miles. What do you have in mind? Asked Frank. Well, Pat was always talking about moving those pool tables out of the bar and changing a few things around, said Miles, suddenly feeling inspired. You sure? Frank asked. Yes, we were only talking about it yesterday. You guys in? Can you help a retired lawman from Chicago in desperate straits? Said Miles with some confidence. Frank looked at his friends. They all nodded. We'll help, said Frank. What do you want to do first? Miles and the men discussed his ideas and made a rough timetable, each man committing to a couple of hours a day. Miles went upstairs and picked up the envelope containing the money left by Pat. Inside the envelope he found a note and $3,000. Dear Miles, please take your wages from this money. If you decide not to come in again, I will understand. If so, please put the remainder of the money in the safe behind my desk and in my office. The safe is open, so just shut the door and turn the tumbler. If you stay, I trust you'll have enough money to replace any stock consumed. I'll be in touch. Regards, Pat. Miles knew that his plan to transform the bar wouldn't happen overnight. He was also concerned that his neck was on the chopping block, if Pat didn't like his plan. He also knew that whatever he did had to be reversible, even if it might take some time to reverse it. He decided that the bar would have to close for a few days whilst he renovated the bar area and emptied the store in the backyard to see exactly what was there. Largely the plan depended on the cooperation and good nature of the boys in blue. Free beer and food, thought Miles. Miles's plans were taking shape. His timetable, however, was awful. The work would take more than 3 weeks.